Hey lovely ladies, Christians, and crazy kids. I'm a bit under the weather today, but so many of you seriously requested for me to do a video about my menstrual cup experience and hear about my favorite ones, so I didn't want to not deliver that. As I said with my menstrual cloths video, I feel like when I was researching menstrual cups, I didn't run into any women that had extremely heavy flow, just unbearable cramps like I do. I have always had extremely bad periods. When I was healthier, they were better, but they got to a point this year where I was just so desperate to find anything that would help with them. These are the two cups that I've tried. I have the Sckoon cup here and the Lunette cup here, and I've had quite a bit of experience with both of them over the last 10 months, and I just want to share a little bit of insight on how my experience has been with them, what my recommendations would be, some of the issues that I had, and things of that nature. So first of all, can girls with heavy flow use menstrual cups? Yes. For me, I have extremely heavy periods. It used to be literally like day 1 through 4 were extremely heavy. Since I've switched over to reusable menstrual products, that's the cloths and the cups, I am down to only having 2 heavy flow days, which is amazing. But my heavy days are still extremely heavy. Most girls can get away with wearing their menstrual cup for 12 hours. I find that I need to change mine after 8. But for that 8 that it's in, when I tell you it is the most flawless experience, it completely is. It's so worth it. I would much rather wear one of these than a tampon any day. I feel like they're comfortable. I feel like they do a better job of catching the blood, because tampons, honestly, it got to the point where no matter what strength I used with them, I was changing them out every 4 hours. And that's exhausting when you're trying to just have a normal work day or whatever, and you're constantly having to worry about whether you're dripping into your underwear and all of that stuff. So before I get into some of the negative things and the downsides to it, I want to highlight the positives, because I do truly feel like every woman at some point should try reusable menstrual products, whether that is the cloth pads or the cups. I just feel like it can really change the way you experience your period, with extra chemicals and everything being added to the tampons, and I think it's just more beneficial for you in the long run to go as natural as possible with it. But for me, I used to have unbearable pain. I used to experience fatigue, vomiting, constant nausea. I wouldn't be able to eat anything for days into my period. I was really just miserable. It got to the point where I couldn't get any work done. I could barely stand sometimes. I would have to spend 2-3 days in my bed just because I would be in so much pain. But after using reusable menstrual products for 10 months now, I started my period yesterday, and honestly, I was wondering, like, why the heck am I so moody? Like, I feel like I'm so short of patience and I'm snapping at everybody. Went into the bathroom and there's blood on the toilet paper, and I had no idea I was supposed to be starting my period. So that's not because I'm off schedule, because I checked my tracker and I'm right on time. It's because all of that pain, all of that nausea, all of that fatigue has gone down so much for me, to the point that I'm not saying every time I experience my period it's flawless like that, but I would say 70 to 80% of the periods that I've had during this time that I've been using reusable menstrual products, my symptoms have really calmed down to where my periods are much more bearable. They will never be enjoyable, but I don't experience a week of misery every single time my period comes around, and I think that's how it should be. Now let me get into some of the issues that I've had with these here cups, and honestly, this is the bad seed that I experienced, the Lunette Cup. This is the one that I went out to buy at my local Walmart in complete desperation when my periods were at their worst in like January this year. And I bought it, and the first day I tried to insert this thing, I broke down in tears because I was just so sensitive because I was on my period. But I probably got this inside of me 10 times, and every single time it would not open properly. Why didn't any of the videos I watched tell me that this thing is so freaking hard to open up inside of you? In the third month, I was still having difficulties. I think I finally got it maybe my third time having a period, but still it was so exhausting. It's just like, I don't know if I want to keep trying this when it only worked out for me once. But I'm so happy I went to Amazon and found the Sckoon cup. Not only is it cheaper than the Lunette, but it's like, it's just a bit more firm. I really like the shape of it. And the first time, no lie, the first time that I stuck this inside myself, it popped open perfectly. And I was just like, this is what they mean when they say you're not supposed to feel it. This is what they mean when they say it's not uncomfortable. This is what they mean when they say it doesn't drip. Like, this was the most life-changing thing I had experienced. Seriously, it was so amazing. So the Sckoon cup is a cheaper option. I got it off of Amazon. I'm so happy I tried it. Since I learned how to insert it properly with this one has become a little bit easier to pop open, but I do feel like I'm able to insert the Sckoon cup with more ease and get it to pop open much easier still than I am able to with the Lunette cup. I'm not associated with either of these companies, either of these products. I would recommend trying the Sckoon cup if you're just getting into them. I don't feel like it's a super popular cup, maybe not as popular as the Lunette cup, but if you're trying them for the first time, I would much rather recommend something to you that's cheaper if you're not for sure that this is something that's for you. Just because had I spent $40 on this and put it down like I wanted to, I would have really felt like I wasted some money and put myself through a miserable experience. So but both of them honestly are really good. I think it really comes down to what personal preference is, because this is super duper soft. So I'm not gonna say no, you shouldn't buy the Lunette cup, because it is super soft. As far as comfort, when I'm wearing them both, I feel like when they're inserted properly, you don't really notice that you're wearing them anyway. So for me, it's no discomfort with either. Like, I don't feel like one is more comfortable than the other. So I guess if you're more particular about that, this one is a little more soft, this one is a little more firm. For me, the Sckoon cup is a little bit easier to adjust and situate and pop open versus the Lunette. That's a little more difficult for me. But again, it comes down to personal preference. So when I insert mine, I do the, you pinch it down in the middle and then put it together like this. I think it's called the C-fold, but I threw away my little manual and I'm not really feeling up to looking at somebody else's video to see, you know, what it's called. Bend it in the center, pinch these together, and stick it up the vajayjay. To make it a little bit easier to insert, I do use a bit of coconut oil, not too much because you don't want your hands slipping and sliding everywhere, but I use coconut oil along the rim just so it makes it a little more slick to stick in. I know personally, I was concerned about the size because even when I'm inserting tampons, I feel like it still feels like a tight fit and some kind of discomfort. But with this, nope, not at all. Once I get it in there, it's good to go. Some people have asked me, how do you know if you put it in right? I know a lot of people say that if you don't feel it, then it's in right. And once you get it past a certain point, you'll kind of feel it pop or slide right in. And honestly, those are perfect descriptions of it. Once you get it to where it needs to be, you'll feel it in that area. And my first couple times wearing them, I thought I had them in correctly, but I was still feeling them the entire day. And it wasn't until maybe my third and fourth month and on from there that I realized, you know, exactly how to put it in to where I'm not feeling it, because Honestly, I don't notice that I'm wearing it when it's in properly. I really don't. That's not an exaggeration. That's not a lie. You don't feel it when it's in properly. So you gotta kind of get used to it. You have to kind of play with the angles of it. Twirl it around inside of you just a little bit. You have to get comfortable with the idea of touching yourself while you're bloody. You just have to get over that if you're gonna be working with this. you do. As far as the removal of it, I usually pinch it at the bottom and wiggle to both sides. You don't pinch it all the way through because at that point it has blood, so you're gonna make it start, you know, overflowing. So I pinch it slightly and then twist it just a little bit and pull it down slightly as I'm doing that, because if you just the thought of the times that I've literally just stuck it in and pulled it out, it's like the air and suction that's going on there is extremely uncomfortable. When I've tried it that way before, so make sure it's gradual, otherwise. I will say, when you go to purchase them, make sure you get the right size. I think that it goes for if you haven't had a child versus if you have had. I obviously have not had children, so I have that version of both menstrual cups. If you are younger, like if you want to look into these for your teenage daughter or something, these are also an option. It doesn't matter if you haven't had sex or whatever, you're perfectly fine using a menstrual cup. As far as cleaning, I boil them before I start my period and start using them. I boil them after I'm finished with my period. And I also use, I think my Lunette Cup. I got some menstrual cup cleaner with that as well, and I use that daily as well. The biggest piece of advice I could give to anyone in this process is to be open and to just stay positive, because like I said, from my experience, it's not a piece of cake for everyone. Even though it's a good addition to your life, that doesn't mean everyone's gonna respond the same to it. Everyone's not gonna enjoy it. Some people are gonna be grossed out by their blood. Some people don't want to take the time to learn something new when they're used to inserting tampons and pads. I get all of that. For me, this is something I'll be using for the rest of my life. These have just been wonderful for me. It's taken a lot of patience, but I'm happy that I remained patient because it's been such a positive addition to my life. If you ladies have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them down below. I loved in my last video where people kind of shared their own experiences and other people answered questions that I didn't get a chance to get to. I really want these to be open conversations because I feel like we just aren't talking enough about stuff like this that can really change the way we experience that time of the month. So if you have any video requests, make sure you leave them in the comments. The only reason I even thought to do this video is because so many of you requested for me to do it. So I do pay attention. I do make note of what you all want to see, and I love to hear more of what you all want to see. With that said, I'm going to see you lovely ladies later. Kandee loves you.